Yeah, today we have 6 languages as presented. You can just click on the global icon. It is on the bottom of your screen, and you can choose your own language. Okay. Now we will have the opening of Dr. Hassan Mustafa, the President of International Handball Federation.
Thank you. Dear handball colleague, dear council and friend, dear representative of International Handball Federations and also the Continental Handball Federations, dear President, representative of national federations, dear handball family, handball ladies and gentlemen. Welcome and thank you for all of you who accepted our invitation to be with us today in this very important meetings, our Congress here in Switzerland. Unfortunately, that normal, we already scheduled to be, this Congress, it will be in Turkey. But unfortunately about this COVID-19, and then we study through our council if you can organize this meeting to be with us here or in Turkey, but for safeguarding for your health, that the council decided that I'll be online. We are very sorry for this, and very good luck for all of you. At the meantime, I want to give my thanks and my gratitude in the name of International Handball Federation and also in my name as the President of International Handball Federation. I have been that already accepted me to be the President in this next 4 years period of International Handball Federation without any vote against me. Thank you so much that I want to give my gratitude to all of you, and I am sure, and also I promise all of you that my colleague and myself, means the council and the executive and all continental confederations and all the national federation working together in the same direction to put handball, our handball love, in the very top level in the next 4 years. I have been fortunate enough to take the podium before you in many occasions in my role as IHF President. But each time I stand ready to give the President address, I am always humbled and the vibrancy of our handball community, trolley movement. Through handball, we are changing lives, bringing joy to millions with our inspiring tournament, and working hard to protect the game we all love. We are 200 nations, but true, we are just one. One community, one nation. There are a lot of countries, a lot of sports, international sports that are coming from up to down and from down to top, to the top. I hope that we are always keep our top position through international federations. It's sport that breaks down barriers. Let us never forget that as we move forward, we are stronger when we act together. We are all joined together to decide the future of our sport and our game. The Congress ranks among the most important for handball community. We have been through difficult times. It has been a test for the world for those lead it. Handball, not the same game like 75 years ago. A lot of changing. Handball now, world handball now is now a huge economic, social, and political force with the power for the influence lives. We are now well equipped for the next challenging era for handball. Integrity checks of the decision makers, punishment of those that let us and handball down, female representations of the executive committee to improve governance and transparency. It has been a goal, my goal and my duty to improve what is handball does, how we do it, making handball more transparent, more stable, and more accountable. Since 2000, just look at some of the things we have achieved, and we're going to see the video after we finish my word. And we have turned around our financial to stand in extremely good financial health. We need to give handball solid foundations. We are ready to take handball all the corner of the world, to stage the greatest tournament, and to use our power and financial potential and the popularity of the wonderful sport to build a better future for those who need our help. Our work must not stop here, crucial. The ball does not discriminate, and neither should we. Must going together as one to drive bridges for our doors to show the trust of the world. Reassure that we will never give up the fight, but we need to do this together, to educate our players on the risk involved and what to do if they approach by match fixers, to cooperate with the investigation at all levels, and reassures fans that handball integrity is a rock solid. I wanted to say we have not gone far enough. Our organization passed solidarity and the democracy here at the Congress. It's one nation, one vote, as it should be. We have more than met the challenge by working together, arm in arm, for improvement of the game. I would be a lie to say it has been easy. It has not. Yes, we. I am very proud to say in handball completely no residents within our community for the better of the game. It did hurt. Handball is never standing still. We are always looking at how to improve, how to make good our missions, how to bring our values to light. We have come a long way, but we must never rest. There is always work to be done. Through innovations and tough actions, we are safeguarding the fight of our players and protecting the game we all love. We are developing the game and improving the standards everywhere. Through working together, we are making a difference and changing lives for the better. We are helping to write the next chapter, a truly inspiring story. The inspiring story in handball, the beautiful game, nation coming together to move forward as one. Let us now take handball to the next level for the world, for the game. Thanks for the Continental Confederation, thanks for the National Federation, thanks for our colleague from the Council, thanks also for the staff in the office, and I hope we can go in the same directions together to push our sport, to reach our aim. Thank you so much, and stay here safe and healthy. Very good luck and very good Congress. Thank you so much for all of you.
Thank you.
So next slide.
May I ask you to stand again to memory of our friend and colleague Zarati passed away in the last 4 years. Thank you.
And next, please. So now we will hand over the floor to our voting company, Lumi. You have the floor.
Yeah. Good. Hello. Thank you, Director General. And just to very briefly introduce myself, I'm Edward Gardner, and I've been appointed as a notary public to oversee the remote voting process. I'm completely independent of Lumi and the IHF, and I'm here with Daniel and Katie, who are from Lumi, who are the voting technicians. So would you like us now to proceed to the roll call?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. So the roll call is taken from those delegates who are logged on to the Lumi voting platform. And at the moment, we have 130 voting delegates and 66 non-voting delegates. And I will now read out by country the delegates who are present. We have Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria, American Samoa, Andorra, Angola, Antigua and Barbuda, Argentina, Armenia, Australia, Austria, Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Barbados, Belarus, Belgium, Benin, Bolivia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Brazil, Bulgaria, Burkina Faso, Burundi, Cameroon, Canada, Chile, China, Colombia, Cook Islands, Costa Rica, Croatia, Cuba, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark, Djibouti, Ecuador, Egypt, El Salvador, Estonia, Ethiopia, the Faroe Islands, Finland, France, Gabon, Georgia, Germany, Ghana, Great Britain, Greece, Greenland, Guatemala, Haiti, Honduras, Hungary, India, Iran, Iraq, Ireland, Italy, Ivory Coast, Japan, Jordan, Kazakhstan, Korea, Kosovo, Kuwait, Latvia, Lesotho, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Macau, China, Madagascar, Malawi, Maldives, Mauritania, Mexico, Monaco, Mongolia, Morocco, the Netherlands, Nicaragua, Niger, Nigeria, North Macedonia, Norway, Oman, Pakistan, Palestine, Papua New Guinea, Paraguay, Peru, the Philippines, Poland, Portugal, Qatar, the Republic of Moldova, Romania, Russia, Rwanda, St. Lucia, Samoa, Sao Tome and Principe, Saudi Arabia, Senegal, Serbia, Slovakia, Slovenia, South Africa, South Sudan, Spain, St. Kitts and Nevis, Sweden, Switzerland, Syria, Tajikistan, Timor-Leste, Togo, Trinidad and Tobago, Tunisia, Turkey, Ukraine, United Arab Emirates, United States of America, Uruguay, Uzbekistan, Vietnam, Yemen, and Zimbabwe. Thank you.
So as we have 8 member federations, they're not entitled to vote. We still have 201 countries. Therefore, we have now reached the quorum. Can you confirm this, please?
Thank you. Yes, it is confirmed. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I give you the floor, please.
So in 2019 in Sweden, the Congress voted to include in the statutes that the non-active federation should not be entitled to vote. As we have, the pandemic started in the beginning of 2020 and most of the world halted the activities. Therefore, we have this, the Council had the motion to exempt those federations from this article for this Congress. So we will apply this for the next Congress. We have 12 non-active federations. We have on the screen. And one of them is confirmed the participation, which is Guyana. So please, I'll give the floor to Lumi to vote on this, please.
Thank you, General Director. And before we move to the first motion, I think we're going to conduct a test vote, which and I'll hand over to Daniel from Lumi to just to take everyone through the test vote. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Edward. Good day, everyone. Obviously, a lot of you have attended a training session with us and are already comfortable with the voting procedure. But for those of you who were not present, we are going to conduct a test vote now, just to allow you a moment to become comfortable before we do move to the proper business of the meeting. So if you are a voting delegate, please now go back to the Lumi voting platform. This is the platform that you logged into today before subsequently joining Zoom. To cast your vote, simply click on your desired voting selection. It will change color and you will receive a vote received confirmation message. This is how you know your vote has been cast successfully. We are going to monitor the amount of received votes, and along with Edward, our public notary, we will close the poll once we are happy that we have received sufficient votes. Thank you.
The vote will close in 30 seconds. The vote is now closed. Yeah, and as you should all see, the results of the test vote are as follows. There were 137 possible votes. There were 4 abstentions, and 102 valid votes were cast. Yes, 86, no, 16. Thank you.
What did you just say?
Yeah. And Director General, if I could just say that some more countries have joined since the roll call, and I'll now read out those countries who have joined. So it's Libya, Venezuela, and Botswana, Somalia, the Dominican Republic, Mauritius, Puerto Rico, Sierra Leone.
That's it.
And if we now then proceed to the first vote. For this vote, a 2/3 majority is required. And the motion to vote on is as follows. Do you agree on allowing the non-active member federations to vote during the 2021 Ordinary IHF Congress? And I now declare that the vote is open.
Hello, everyone. The vote is still open, and we will leave this open for a sufficient amount of time to receive the votes. Only a voting delegate can vote within the Lumi platform. If you are logged in, but you cannot see the vote, it is because you are not logged in with the voting delegate's credentials. If you believe that you are a voting delegate, please email ihf@lumiglobal.com. and we will be able to assist you. We can only send the voting credentials to the email address that was registered for this Congress. Thank you.
The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 139 possible votes, there was 8 abstentions, and 103 valid votes were cast. Yes, 65, 63.11%, no 38, 36.89%. So I don't think the 2/3 majority has been achieved, but I'll hand the floor back to the Director General. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll go to the next slide, please. For suspension and forfeit of membership, we'll give the floor to Mr. Spieter.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, as you know, the IHF Men's World Championship in Egypt was a challenge for all of us to organize one of the first big events this year under the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and to organize the very first IHF World Championship featuring 32 teams. A lot of sport associations, the media, and of course the IOC was focused on us. How can a big event be carried out safely and successfully for all parties involved in a pandemic times? So our mission in the competition management was clear from the start: to organize a healthy and safe environment for all stakeholders, and this is very important, to follow 100% all obligations set out in our IHF COVID-19 precaution plan. One important measure of the precaution plan was so-called bubble concept, with clear marked red zones in team hotels and in our arenas. Switching between the bubble and non-bubble zones, as well as external contact with any persons not staying in the bubble, was strictly forbidden. So now I will explain some remarks to the case of Mr. Hisham Nasser, at this time president of the Egyptian Handball Federation. Mr. Nasser was from the beginning of the World Championship accommodated at Cairo Marriott Hotel, which was one of the bubble hotels. I personally saw him several times in the team hotel in Cairo. On the 13th of January, the day of the opening ceremony, Mr. Nasser switched between the bubble and non-bubble zones. Several IHF nominees saw him on the VIP tribune during the opening ceremony. On the 15th of January, Dr. František Taborski, member of the IHF executive and IHF representative at the World Championship, sent a report to us, to the competition management. Again, Mr. Nasser switched between the bubble and non-bubble zones during the match Hungary-Cape Verde, together with embassy representatives from Cape Verde. Also, Mr. Nasser received guests not staying within the bubble, such as representatives of the Egyptian parliament. On the 17th of January, I sent from the competition management an official letter to Mr. Nasser. We informed him about his violations, and also we asked him for explanation. On the 18th of January, Mr. Nasser sent a letter to IHF. He confirmed that he respects the IHF medical precaution plan, but he also has he mentioned that he has official tasks during the opening ceremony. He mentioned that any persons not staying in the bubble had a negative antigen test. Please remember, at this time, the competition management had decided that all stakeholders inside the bubble had to take a PCR test every day. In totally, we organized 30,000 PCR tests. On the 19th of January, Mr. Nasser entered during the game Chile-North Macedonia in the Cairo main stadium, again from the VIP area together with other people. Later, he entered from the VIP grandstand into the red zone and walked along the playing field. This action was shown for a long time in front of running TV cameras. All IHF delegates observed this violation of the existing rules. Together with the LOC responsible of the arena, Mr. Nasser was referred back to the VIP stand. As a direct consequence, the disciplinary commission decided on the same day that the access for Mr. Nasser to all red bubble zones is prohibited. At the end, one personal remark. In this critical phase at the beginning of the World Championship, it was really important for the competition management to implement the COVID-19 medical precaution plan 100%. And all sport-related people around the world was looking to us. And to protect health of all stakeholders, that was clear our first goal. So at the end, sorry to say, Mr. Nasser was in these days as an important representative of our sport, not a good model.
Yeah, so we have listened to Mr. Speta. He is the chairman of the competition management in the World Championship in Egypt. And then the whole issue represented to the council, who decided to suspend the former president of Egyptian Handball Federation until the Congress. And today you have to vote to confirm, just to confirm the suspension until the day of the Congress. But still, we have another case against, unfortunately, Mr. Nasser and his former board, because we received from the Egyptian Handball Federation a decision issued by the sport court in Egypt that they violated the good governance or the transparent in their election in 2018. Therefore, this submitted from our executive to the IHF Ethic Commission, and they will launch the procedure against all of them. So now we need to just to vote on confirming the suspension from March 21 until today. I'll give the floor to the voting company. Lumi, please.
Thank you, General Director. So if we now move to the next voting item, and again for this, a 2/3 majority is required. So the motion to vote on is as follows. Do you agree on confirming the suspension of Mr. Nisham Nazar, who violated the COVID-19 medical precaution plan during the 2021 IHF Men's World Championship from all handball activities until the 2021 ordinary IHF Congress as imposed by the IHF Council? I now declare the vote is open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. And just before I read out the results for the voting, just to confirm that 3 more countries have joined, Kyrgyzstan, Liberia and Iceland. And the result of the voting is as follows. There was 142 possible votes, there were 11 abstentions, and 111 valid votes were cast. Yes, 97, 87.39%, no, 14, 12.61%. So a 2/3 majority was obtained. Thank you, General Director.
Thank you. So we go to agenda point 4, please. So it would be the election of the 2 examiner of the minutes, and the chair proposed Bernard Rappenzeifner for the German version and Philippe Bana for the French version. So this would need simple majority, and I will give the floor back to the voting company.
Thank you, General Director. So if we move to the next vote, which is, as you said, requires a simple majority. And the motion to vote on is, do you agree on electing as examiners of the minutes Bernd Rabbensweiner for the German version and Philippe Barner for the French version? And the vote is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. Thank you. And before reading out the results, just to confirm that Hong Kong have now joined. So for the vote number 4, there was 143 possible votes. There was 1 abstention and 125 valid votes were cast. Yes, 125. 100%, no, 0, 0%. So there is a clear, simple majority. Thank you, General Director.
Okay, now we're coming to point number 6, determination of the ordinary Congress. Frau Khalifa, you have the floor, please.
English.
Yes.
As it was communicated to you in our documentation, the date of the Congress was announced in 9 months prior, according to Article 13.1.4. It was on the 3rd of February and officially convened on 6 July. The agenda was shared also to you on the 25th of September, according to Article 13.1.6. And the working document sent to all our member federation, continental confederations, on the 6th of October 21, according to Article 13.1.7. So the above mentioned dates all comply with the article provided in the statutes. Thank you.
Okay.
So, extraordinary IHF Congress in Gothenburg on the 3rd of July, and the ordinary IHF Congress on Gothenburg, 3rd of July minutes.
Okay. I give to Lomi if they agree to adapt the minutes. Lomi with us.
Yes, sir.
I give you the floor, please.
Yep. Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
if we now move to the next vote. Again, for this, a simple majority is required. So the motion to vote on is as follows. Do you agree on adopting the minutes of the extraordinary IHF Congress and the 37th ordinary IH Congress held in Gothenburg, Sweden on the 3rd of July 2019? And the vote is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly be displaying the results of the voting. And just before reading out the results of the voting, just to let everyone know that Guinea-Bissau, Gambia and Kenya have also joined. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 146 possible votes. There was 2 abstentions and 132 valid votes were cast. Yes, 132, 100%. No, 0%. So there is a clear, simple majority. Thank you, General Director.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Lomi. Thank you, all the national federations that already accepted the minutes from Sweden. Okay, now we remove the point number 8, the President report, and give to the General Manager the floor. The floor is yours.
Yeah, we just will show now a report of the last 4 years in film. We'll try to make it as short as possible. So we will have about 25 minutes film. So please stay with us.
In the last 4 years, the IHF held or attended more than 250 meetings all around the world, on site as well as virtually, with more than 70 meetings having been organized in the IHF head office in Switzerland. As of March 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic hit the world, everyone had to adapt to a new way of dealing with day-to-day tasks, and meetings were held largely virtually. However, Dr. Mustafa spared no efforts to ensure a safe 27th IHF Men's World Championship and met with ministers, high-ranking representatives, the organizing committee and many more in Egypt in the lead-up to the event. As for the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, the IHF also worked tirelessly to guarantee the best possible conditions for the Olympic handball tournament, and several virtual meetings were organized between the IHF and the IOC or other team sports federations. The Ihf Trophy, introduced back in 2000, and the IHF Emerging Nations Championship, launched in 2015, are competitions that provide emerging and developing handball nations with the opportunity to gain valuable experience on the global stage in various age categories. The Ihf Trophy has not only become one of the most popular IHF projects, but is, by now, also a qualification pathway to Junior and Youth World Championships. The IHF Handball at School project, which aims at introducing handball to PE teachers and beginner coaches working with children, has undergone a thorough update in the last electoral period and received not only a new design, but also new material, a new curriculum, updated documentation and much more. Since the COVID-19 pandemic struck and the IHF Virtual Academy was introduced, the first IHF Children's Handball Week, as well as the first IHF Children's Handball Symposium were held, with annual events to follow, in addition to on-site programs to achieve the overall goal for the next years, reaching 50 million children around the world. With a focus on introducing handball in key markets worldwide, where the sport is not yet well known, the New Markets Project is one of the IHF's main projects. Strategies tailored to the specific market are currently realized in Great Britain, China and the USA, with India, Nigeria and Canada joining the list of countries taking part. In the future, Italy as well will be part of the project. While the basics of what a federation needs to be successful are rather similar, the specific needs of each nation are taken into account. Great Britain were the first to join the project, with grassroots programs being realized, new age group teams that have been formed, a new coaching structure and participation in several IHF and EHF events. China want to spread the sport to all provinces, and in order to do so, they need multipliers. Therefore, the IHF has organized several courses, with the next multiplier course being planned in 2022. In terms of administration and competition, the Federation cooperates not only with the IHF, but also with Europe's top nations to improve their level in general. In the USA, handball is being put on the map not only by sending teams to events, but also by hosting competitions such as the qualification events for the Super Globe or World Championships. Regular broadcasts of handball matches should help raise awareness of the sport, while the cooperation with European teams and federations should help raise the level of teams and the federation. More than 50 years ago, the IOC introduced the Olympic Solidarity Initiative to assist nations in need with the development of their athletes, coaches and sports administrators. Between January 2017 and September 2021, the IHF, in collaboration with the national federations and national Olympic committees, carried out more than 30 technical courses for coaches and 7 courses on the development of national sporting structure. Since the 2017 IHF Congress, the IHF has been very active with regards to the development of handball all over the world, and hundreds of national federations, teams and organizations in all 6 continents have benefited from it. In 2020, the IHF launched the IHF Virtual Academy as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, which caused handball activities to come to a halt and meant new ways had to be found to interact with the handball community. The project started with interactive live seminars, on-demand e-learning and an online knowledge library, and much more has been added since. 8 IHF Virtual Academy programs with different focus points have been held since its introduction, and even licensed courses for federations have been organized. Handball as a product is highly valued by agencies and business enterprises, and despite the COVID-19 pandemic, the interest of sponsors to join handball events has not faded. In the last electoral period, the IHF has signed Hummel and Sport 5 as main sponsors, and in 2021, the agreement with Sport 5 was even extended to cover also beach handball and younger age category events until 2031. The IHF not only celebrated new world champions and medalists in the past 4 years, but also remarkable success off the court. While no spectators were allowed at the 2021 IHF Men's World Championship, more than 900,000 spectators traveled to the arenas in Germany and Denmark in 2019. The spectator numbers for women's events as well have been constantly increasing in the past few years. The TV figures have been staying at a high level, and the IHF looks forward to more success in the next electoral period. In the last electoral period, the IHF has improved their presence throughout the media landscape significantly, With a new branding, a new website and a new app, the IHF treats fans to a new handball experience. On social media, the IHF could also record impressive growth since November 2017, with a follower increase of 94% on Facebook, 300% on Instagram, and 164% on Twitter. The IHF Former Players Project aims at keeping handball players involved in the sport after they have ended their active career. After successfully hosting the first Former Players course in 2017, the second and third edition followed on the fringes of the IHF Superglobe in 2018 and 2021. The subject of women's handball was a focus area in 2018 in particular, as most of the participants were women, and the IHF has a keen interest in ultimately finding more women in key positions in handball. On the basis of match analyses of all IHF events since 2016, as well as feedback and discussions with top coaches and referees, the IHF has tested 3 rule modifications in the past 2 years. In the future, the throw-off should be done in a center circle with a diameter of 4 meters to simplify this action and reduce interruptions of the game. Further, the number of passes after the forewarning signal has been shown will be reduced from 6 to 4, which should lead to less interruptions and a more appealing game. The third modification concerns the safety of goalkeepers, as players who hit the goalkeeper's head in open play and without hindrance will receive a 2-minute suspension in the future. In 2018, the IHF took an important step in the fight against doping by signing an agreement with the International Testing Agency, an independent foundation established by the IOC. In cooperation with ITA and the World Anti-Doping Agency, the IHF continues to develop its anti-doping program, which also includes educational outreach programs at events. In 2020, anti-doping also featured on the program of the first IHF medical webinar series presented via the IHF Virtual Academy. With the admission of Fiji, Jamaica and Timor-Leste as full members and England and Scotland as associated members in 2017, the IHF has increased their membership to 209, 201 being full members plus 8 associated or regional members. When the COVID-19 pandemic struck, handball paused, events got cancelled or postponed, and the finances of national federations, continental confederations, and the IHF hit a low. Thanks to the IHF's healthy financial status, though, the IHF was able to support its members in this crisis, and due to the continued trust of the main partners, the future looks bright, so that the IHF can use its income to invest further in its development projects, aiming to grow handball all around the world. In the last electoral period, a lot has happened in the world of beach handball. In 2018, the World Championship in Russia featured 16 men's and women's teams each for the first time, and in the women's competition, Greece certainly made use of it, claiming gold in their debut World Championship, while Brazil's men celebrated their 5th gold medal in the competition. Also in 2018, beach handball made a huge step towards the overall goal to include the sport in the Olympic program, as it featured at the Youth Olympic Games in Buenos Aires, with Argentina's women and Spain's men winning the gold medals. In 2024, it will be presented at the Olympic Games Paris 2024 as a demonstration sport. 1 year later, the inaugural Inaugural Beach Games were held in Doha with beach handball on the program. And this time, it was Denmark's women and once again Brazil's men to claim the top podium spot. The sport was so successful that it has been included in the World Beach Games program as a core sport until 2025. In order for handball to become a more inclusive sport, the IHF has put a particular focus on wheelchair handball in the last electoral period to be able to grow the sport worldwide. The main goal of the IHF is for wheelchair handball to be included in the Paralympic program, and with that in mind, the IHF has formalized the sport, created the rules of the game for four-a-side as well as six-a-side wheelchair handball, finished the classification rules and regulations, and is ready to hold the first World Championships in both disciplines in 2022. Further, the first and second wheelchair handball seminars presented via the IHF Virtual Academy have been held in 2020 and 2021 to inform the global handball community about the sport and help national federations and individuals, both active and inactive in wheelchair handball, to learn more about the current conditions. In 2018, it was the turn of the women's younger age category teams to take the court and present their skills on the global stage. For Hungary, the junior event ultimately became a fairy tale home world championship as they claimed gold, beating Norway in the final. Republic of Korea took bronze in the event, just like they did a month later at the Women's Youth World Championship in Poland. There, Hungary played again in the final, but this time around they had to admit defeat and Russia took the title. Aiming to further promote women's handball worldwide, the IHF introduced the Women's Super Globe in 2019, with teams from 7 nations in 5 continents taking part in this first edition of the event. African club champions Agosto Luanda ultimately raised the trophy in China as they concluded an impressive campaign with a strong victory against Chinese national club in the final. At the Simply Wunderbar 2017 Women's World Championship in Germany, France were able to beat the seemingly unstoppable Norway in the final, claiming the 3rd gold medal for the federation in this year. Netherlands proved once again that they have arrived among the top teams in the world by claiming bronze. The Dutch side underlined their impressive form in 2019, when they not only made it all the way to the final, but also took their first ever title, defeating 2021 hosts Spain, who played their first Women's World Championship final. Russia bet Norway to claim bronze. The men's younger age category teams were up in 2019, with the Junior World Championship taking place in Spain and the youth event being staged in North Macedonia. While France claimed their 4th straight medal, winning gold, Croatia celebrated a historic silver and Egypt finished a strong campaign to win their first medal in the competition since 1999. And it was Egypt again who proved that there is a promising generation of players coming, as they took the Men's Youth World Championship title by defeating Germany in the final, as the German side improved on their best ever men's youth result. Denmark won bronze, beating Portugal. In the last electoral period, 3 IHF Men's Super Globe tournaments have taken place. 2018 in Qatar before the event moved to Saudi Arabia, where the last 2 editions in 2019 and 2021 were organized. Basel claimed the title in both the 2018 and 2019 editions, winning against German clubs Füchse Berlin and THW Kiel respectively. In 2021, however, another German side, SC Magdeburg, put an end to Basel's hold on the trophy and claimed their first IHF Men's Super Globe title in only their 2nd appearance in the event after they finished as runners-up in 2002. The first ever co-hosted Men's World Championship was staged in 2019 in Germany and Denmark, 2 handball-loving countries with a rich tradition in the sport, which was proven by a record-smashing 900,000 spectators in the arenas. Both hosts were carried by their cheering fans, reaching the final weekend, with Denmark finishing as world champions after a comfortable victory against Norway, and Germany coming in 4th after a heartbreaking 1-goal loss to France in the bronze medal match.
I hope this event will be the light of the end of the dark tunnel.
In the beginning of 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic hit the world and changed the life as we know it today.
Egypt will be the spotlight worldwide during this organization of this event, and will be for sure give a message of success.
The 2021 IHF Men's World Championship was not only the first IHF event with 32 teams, but also the first global team sport event since the beginning of the pandemic. The event was held in a bubble with approximately 1,450 rapid antigen tests and 30,000 PCR tests conducted. Ultimately, only 27 positive cases were detected, 16 of which were players representing 6 teams. Despite COVID-19, 32 teams were ready on 13 January to give the handball world what they were longing for so much: live handball action. Switzerland and North Macedonia came in as substitute nations for USA and Czech Republic, and especially for Switzerland, it felt like a fairy tale come true as they finished 16th in the end. Besides Men's World Championship debutants Democratic Republic of the Congo, Uruguay and Cape Verde, who had to withdraw during the preliminary round due to COVID-19, Argentina as well experienced a highly emotional World Championship as they ultimately missed the quarterfinals by 1 goal, but still finished Egypt 2021 in 10th place, their best Men's World Championship result ever. Egypt recorded their best result in 20 years, finishing 7th, as 3 continents were represented in the quarterfinals. The hosts were eliminated in a highly dramatic quarterfinal penalty shootout against defending champions Denmark. In the end, Spain claimed their second ever Men's World Championship bronze, Sweden took silver, and Denmark won their second straight gold medal at the event, which was unlike any other. An event which was much needed to show there is hope and that we can all make it.
We made it. We made it.
A big thank you to Egypt and the whole organization for this World Championship. It was fantastic for us. I think in these times, in this world, it's pretty amazing that you can arrange a World Championship like this. It was really perfect, and we always felt us secure, and we were really happy to be here.
This tournament has showed that everything is possible with the white bubble. They made a good job, and I think it was the right decision to make this World Championship to be this success.
I would like to congratulate very warmly, in particular, the International Handball Federation under the great leadership of its president, Dr. Hassan Mustafa, for the excellent organization of these championships. The IHF performed to its best, with creating a bubble of 3,000 people, with using the modern testing methods and rapid testing for athletes and other participants. They have really set an example for the organization of a great sporting event during this pandemic. This can give us all confidence in the entire Olympic movement. From this we can see that even during this difficult period, you can organize a great sporting events and organize it in a very safe and healthy way.
The electronic team timeout buzzer, the passive play countdown, and the video proof system are among the latest novelties that have been installed at IHF events. With the help of the enhanced Dartfish TV platform, IHF, CCM and PRC can quickly provide video analyses online and make them accessible to the public. Postponed by 1 year, the Tokyo Handball Qualification 2020 took place in March 2021 to determine the final 12 teams for the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. Men's tournaments took place in Montenegro, France and Germany, while the women's tournaments were organized in Spain, Hungary and, once again, Montenegro, as the federation replaced Norway as host of men's tournament 1. In the end, both Norway's and Sweden's men's and women's teams qualified for the Olympic Games, alongside the men's teams of Brazil, France, Portugal and Germany, and the women's teams of Spain, Russia, Hungary and Montenegro. After being postponed by 1 year due to the COVID-19 pandemic and taking place behind closed doors and with a thoroughly planned precaution concept in place, the long-awaited Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 finally took place in summer 2021. The final matches of both the men's and women's handball tournament were a repeat of the Rio 2016 finals, but the outcome was a different one, with France claiming gold in both tournaments, while Denmark's men and ROC's women had to be satisfied with silver. Bahrain and Portugal went down in history as Olympic debutants, while Egypt qualified for the quarterfinals for the first time ever. Denmark's Mathias Gitzel also made history, as he was named the youngest ever MVP of an Olympic handball tournament. Founded in 1946, the IHF is celebrating its 75th anniversary throughout 2021. In May, an official commemorative stamp was put on the market by the Swiss Post, with whom the IHF also collaborated on a special stamp booklet. The International Handball Week 2021 celebrated 75 years IHF and the evolution of handball and its disciplines through time, and at this point, the IHF would like to thank all continental confederations as well as national federations who took part in the celebrations despite the COVID-19 pandemic. Further, a special commemorative silver coin with the anniversary logo on the one side and the IHF presidents on the other was produced, just as well as an anniversary ball which carries the special logo. An anniversary magazine with a review of the activities in 2021 will be published in the beginning of the next year.
Thank you. May I ask my colleague, President, General Secretary, Representative from National Federation, if anyone have any question and comment? Any question or comment, please? No? Okay. We are going to remove the point number 8. And this is a 9, Financial and Editors Report. I give the floor to Mr. Yaus. Mr.
Yes,
Yaus?
hello. Yes, I'm here. Do you hear me?
Please.
Thanks. Hello to everybody. Dear Mr. President, dear members of the Executive Committee and Council, dear representative of the National Federations, dear Director General, and dear friends of handball. It's a pleasure being with you today, and I still have very good memories from the last meeting in Göteborg and the very positive discussions we had there in regard of finances and in regard of the future development of handball. I hope you can see the presentation, the slides, and you received in advance the financial reports with 11 pages per year. Can we move to the second slide? Thanks. Income statement. If we want to be successful in sports, as the president laid out in the beginning of his speech and the Congress, you need to have enough financial resources, and you need to have a sound financial situation. I'm very happy to confirm to the members that this is the case. If you have a look at the income statement, and we start with the income generated by your federation, we clearly see that with an overall revenue of 22 million in a year without competition, world championships, that's an enormous result. This was mainly this is mainly thanks to the television and broadcasting rights with the 20 million Swiss francs. Please note that despite the pandemic situation, the management was able to negotiate that there was no discount on the rights. There was a postponing of the cash flow, but it was managed to stick at this high level of broadcasting revenue. On the next slide, you can see the other operating income as well as the cost that occurred for running your organization. We have salaries and we have development aid and other contributions. You may now say, hey, there wasn't not too many events in 2020. Yes, you're right, but the management also decided to have a sound situation for the future, to build up additional reserves for development aid and for helping the members, the national federations, and to develop the sport and the competition. So that's the reason why, despite a lot of meetings and events were cancelled, we still occur some cost in development aid and other contribution, as well as meetings and administration. So this adds up to a total of 13 million as a cost. And if we go to the next slide, we then see the total. So revenue of 22 million in 2020 and 34 million in 2019. Then we have the event-related expenses, which of course were massively higher in 2019 due to the events that took place, and the net operating expense of 13 and 15 million respectively in the previous year, and the net financial results. And then at the end, we have the 5 million of profit in 20 and the 9 million of profit in the year 19. I think this, especially under the light of the circumstances, are very good results and show the due diligence that is taken by the management, also in regard of finances. And you just saw this film with all the activities and all the meetings that take place, all the successes that were taken. And this actually, the finances here really show the same picture. If you go on to have a look at the balance sheet. So the balance sheet will show you where the money was at the 31st of December. So not the income and outflow of money, but also what is on the bank and what is actually what you have at stake. And we see that we have cash and receivables, mainly the broadcasting rights, which were invoiced but not yet paid, which gives you a current assets. Current assets are the amount, the cash that is available in short term of 52 million Swiss francs. In addition, on the next slide, you see the amount that is on midterm available for your federation, in the sense of that this was allocated to investments on the stock markets and bonds and so on. So we have here another 125 million at the end of 20 and 135 million the year before. We have tangible fixed assets, which is the headquarter in Basel of close to 3 million, and this leads to non-current assets of 130 million. I think for everybody, this is a clear signal that there is a sound financial situation for the Federation and its challenges to come in the next years. On the next slide, you just see the summary of what I just laid out under the balance sheet, showing you the current assets and the non-current assets and the total of it of 180 million. We examined the financial results at the bookkeeping and the report which was issued to you. And if we can go to the next slide and even one more. And the next, thanks a lot. You can see our report, which was stated in line with our professional measurements in Switzerland. We come to a very positive result and do not signal anything that is in that could be criticized with our report. I am happy also to add that your colleagues Gunal Ensari and Ulysses Pereira also performed several audits at the headquarters in Basel. They issued reports on the 23rd of September 20 and on the 1st of July 21. And they state, in our view, the bookkeeping and annual accounts are consistent with the provisions of the Swiss law, IHF statutes, IHF Council, and Executive Committee decisions. We would advise the Congress approving the present 20 and 19 annual accounts and would like to express our thanks to the Financial Department for clear and excellent bookkeeping. So the external auditors, us as co-partner, and your colleagues, the internal auditors, we are in line with applauding the quality of the bookkeeping and the financial system at the Federation. So let's go to the next slide. Can we see the next slide, please? One more. Yeah, so it's now your possibility to ask questions to me in regard of the financial accounts or to the notes that were given to you in the financial report within the 11 pages of for 20 and the 11 pages for 19. Any comments, any Q&As? I do not see any.
Thank you, Mr. Yaus, and I give the floor to Lomi, please, to organize if anyone he wanted to ask any question or comment.
We don't have questions.
Okay.
Thank you,
If
Mr.
there are no questions, we're going to vote. Lomi, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. So
You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you. So if we now move to the next vote, and for this vote, a simple majority is required. And the next vote is as follows. Do you agree on approving the financial and auditors' reports for the years 2019 and 2020? And the vote is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will display the result shortly. And just before announcing the results of the voting, I'll just confirm which countries have recently joined. So we have Montenegro, the Republic of Republic of Guinea, Jamaica, and Dominica. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 150 possible votes, there were no abstentions, and 132 valid votes were cast. Yes, 132, 100%. No, 0%. So again, that's a clear, simple majority. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much, Lumi. And then we remove point number 10, the membership admissions. I think it's not applicable.
Not applicable.
Not applicable. Okay, now we remove to item number 11, discharge, and I give the floor to Mr. Holmquist. Mr. Holmquist? Hello? Jürgen? Or Mr. Holmquist?
Lotta?
Yes.
Yes. Now I got the help.
Discharge.
Mr. President, members of the Council, delegates, dear Handball friends, we have come to point 11 on the agenda and to decide about discharge for the Council for the fiscal years 2019 and 2020. As you have seen and heard, the auditors in its reports recommend to grant discharge. But before we go to the voting procedure, I will ask if anyone wants to take the floor for some comments. Well, that seems not to be the case. So then we go to the voting. And please, Lumi, guide us through the voting.
Thank you. So if we now proceed to the next vote. Again, for this vote, a simple majority is required. And the motion to vote on is as follows. Please vote on discharging the IHF Council, and the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. Poll is now closed, and we will display the results shortly. And before announcing the results, just to inform you that Brunei have now joined. And the results of the voting are as follows. There was 151 possible votes, there were 5 abstentions, and 124 valid votes were cast. Yes, 118, 95.16%, no 6, 4.84%. So again, a simple majority has been obtained. Thank you, Mr. President.
So I find that the Congress has decided to grant discharge for the Council for the fiscal years 2019 and 2020. And I give the floor to the President. Thank you.
Okay. Now we come to, thank you, Mr. Holmquist. And now we remove to item number 12, treatment of the elections, status motions submitted to the Congress, not applicable.
It's not applicable, so we go to
We go to the 13.
elections.
Okay, now we're coming to the point of the item number 13, and this is the elections, and I give the floor to Mr. Jean Briot. Mr. Jean Briot.
Yes, President.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
I give you the floor, please. And
Thank
let me ask you, shall I go outside or I stay here?
Mr. President, I don't see any need for you to go outside, if I may express an opinion.
Thank you.
Mr. President, dear council members, dear Handball friends, it's a pleasure to meet you all again, though virtually. My duty here is to report on the election working group. The election working group was set up by the council in its meeting of July the 15th, 2021. I had the honor of being nominated as chair, and my two colleagues in this group were Francisco Blasquez from Spain and Jürgen Holmquist from Sweden. Prior to its virtual meeting, the working group was supplied by the IHF with a full list of candidates and complete individual candidacy files, with a technical analysis of the candidates received and a date of submission of the candidacies. The working group held its virtual meeting on August the 30th, 2021. The report produced was a unanimous report. The report had two parts: individual remarks concerning the candidates and global recommendations for future congresses. The candidates not fulfilling the conditions to be accepted as candidates were officially informed of their situation by the IHF office. The final report of the working group was presented to the IHF Council by myself on the 20th of September 2021. My conclusion, supported by the other two members of the working group, is that the final list of candidates presented to the Congress, further to new withdrawals, is in full conformity with the working group's conclusions. This, Mr. President, is my report.
Okay. Now coming to the election. Lomi.
No, first.
Thank you.
Okay, let me ask Jean, can you make the election for all positions after my election as a president? May I ask you to do such thing like this?
I can do that, Mr. President, if you so wish.
Okay. Thank you so much. It will be neutral and also transparent. I will be out from these elections. Okay. Okay. Tommy?
So for the presidency of the IHF, shall I commence, Mr. President?
Yes, please, you can start.
Yes. So concerning the presidency of the International Handball Federation, we have one candidate, and that is Dr. Hassan Mustafa. Dr. Hassan Mustafa fulfills all the conditions to be a candidate, and I can guarantee that he has spent more than 6 years in high-level handball. So, Lumi, we can open the vote.
Thank you. So if we now move to the next vote, and the motion is as follows. Do you agree on electing as IHF President, unopposed, Dr. Hassan Mustafa, and the poll is now open. poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the result. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 151 possible votes, there was 1 abstention, and 136 votes were validly cast. Yes, 135, 99.26%. No, 1, 0.74%. Thank you, and I now hand the floor back.
Thank you, Mr. President. My very sincere congratulations. Good luck to you for the future, and many thanks for the past years of your leadership. Do you want to say something, Mr. President, at this stage?
Yes, please, you have to proceed until the end of the election, please.
Okay. Now we come to the position of first vice president. We have 2 candidates, Mr. Joël Delplanque from France, standing for re-election, and Mr. Andreas Michelmann from Germany, standing as a new candidate. Lumi, we can go into the voting process.
Thank you. And again, for this vote, an absolute majority is required. And the motion to vote on is as follows. Please vote for the position of IHF First Vice President, Joël Delplanque and Andreas Mittelmann, and the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. And before I read out the results, just to announce that Chad have also now joined. So for the voting, there was 152 possible votes and 136 valid votes were cast. Joël Delplanque, 106, 77.94%. Andreas Michelmann, 30, 22.06%. Therefore, an absolute majority is obtained for Joël. I now hand the floor back. Thank you.
Congratulations, Joël Delplanque, and best regards, Andreas Michelmann. We now come to the position of treasurer. We just have 1 candidate, and this is Mrs. Anna Rapp from Sweden. Lumi, I give you the floor.
Thank you. And again, for this, an absolute majority is required. So the motion to vote on is as follows. Do you agree on electing as IHF Treasurer Anna Rapp? And the poll is now open. poll will close in 30 seconds. Poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results of the voting. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 152 possible votes, there were no abstentions and 136 valid votes were cast. Yes, 136, 100%, no, 0%. And I now hand the floor back. Thank you.
Congratulations, Anna, what a success. Now we come to the election of 2 members of the Executive Committee. For these 2 positions, we have 3 candidates, respectively, Mrs. Narcisa Lekusanu, standing for re-election, Mr. František Taborski, standing for re-election, Mr. Tjaak de Lang, new election, Mr. Kohinoor, new election, Mr. Nielsen, new election. Lumi, I hand over the floor to you.
Jean, can you just confirm how many candidates people should be choosing here? We have 2.
We have 2 positions open. We have to elect 2 members of the executive, and we have 5 candidates.
Yeah, that's correct. We're just confirming. Thank you.
Thank you. So if we now move to the next vote, and this is as follows. Please vote for the position of IHF Executive Committee member, and please choose 2 candidates from the following. Narcisa Lekusanu, František Taborski, Tjaak de Lang, Azadun Aman Kohinoor, and Stephen Nielsen. And the poll is now open.
I would now just like to remind voting delegates that because you are required to select 2 candidates, you must press the send button after you have selected those candidates. If you do not press the send button, your vote will not be received. The send button can be located at the bottom right of the voting selections. So again, select 2 candidates and then press the send button. It is imperative that you press the send button in order for your vote to be received by our system. Thank you.
The poll will close in 30 seconds. Poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. And the results of the voting are as follows. reading there was 152 possible votes and 131 valid votes were cast. And reading just with surnames, Lekuzanu, 106, 80.92%, Taborski, 99, 75.5%, Nilsson, 31, 23.66%, DeLong, 22, 16.79%, Conor, 4, 3.05%. Therefore, I understand that the first two are elected. And I now hand the floor back. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So congratulations to Narcisa Lekuzanu and František Taborski. We now come to the vote for the chairperson of the Commission of Organizing and Competitions. We just have one candidate. This is Per Bertelsen from Denmark, standing for re-election. Lumi, I give you the floor.
Thank you. And the next motion to vote on is as follows. Do you agree on electing as chairperson of the IHF Commission of Organising and Competition, Per Bertelsen? And the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. And the result of the voting is as follows. There was 152 possible votes, there were 2 abstentions, and 134 valid votes were cast. Yes, 132, 98.51%, no, 2, 1.49%. So the motion is carried. And I now hand the floor back. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Chair. And now we come to the position of Chairperson of the Commission of Coaching and Methods. And here we have one candidate. This is Mr. Dietrich Peter from Germany, standing for re-election. Lumi, I give you the floor.
We are still in BRC. First.
Sorry, I apologize. I apologize. Yes, I was skipping over the referees and they will never forgive me. That is me doomed for the rest of my days.
Please don't make a mistake again.
Yes, yes. Otherwise, I might get a red card. So for the chairperson of the Playing Rules and Referees Commission, we have one candidate, and this is Mr. Per Morten Sødal from Norway, and this is a new election. Lumi, I give you the floor, with my apologies.
Thank you very much. So if we now move to the next motion, which is as follows. Do you agree on electing as chairperson of the IHF Playing Rules and Referees Commission, Per Morten Sødal? And the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 152 possible votes, there were no abstentions, and 135 valid votes were cast. Yes, 135, 100%, no, 0, 0%. So again, the motion is carried. Thank you very much. I hand back the floor.
Congratulations, Per Morten, and once again, my apologies for my mistake. Now we come to the chairperson of the Commission on Coaching and Methods, and we have one candidate, and that is Dietrich Peter from Germany, standing for re-election. Lumi, I give you the floor.
Thank you. And the next motion to vote on is as follows. Do you agree on electing as chairperson of the IHF Commission of Coaching and Methods, Dietrich Bate? And the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. Results of the voting are as follows. There was 152 possible votes, there were no abstentions, and 138 valid votes were cast. Yes, 138, 100%, no, 0, 0%. So the motion is carried. And I now hand the floor back to Jean. Thank you.
Thank you, Dietrich. Congratulations. Now we come to the position of chairperson of the Medical Commission, where we have no candidate fulfilling the electoral conditions. And I suppose that the executive and council will have to deal with the issue. Mr. President, do you have any statement to produce at this stage?
No, if you asked me, I ask my colleague and my friend from the National Federation or the Congress that you can give this duty to the council that you can take a decisions till the next Congress after 2 years.
So this is normal procedure in an IHF Congress when when a position cannot be fulfilled. It is the duty of nominating a new person in charge is taken over by the council. I don't suppose there's a need for a vote for this. Mr. President, do you demand a vote?
Yes. Yes, please.
Yes? Okay. So I hand over the floor to Lumi.
Thank you, John. And the next motion to vote on is as follows. Do you agree on authorising the IHF Council to appoint an acting chairperson of the IHF Medical Commission until 2023? And the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds.
had someone join.
The poll is now closed and we will shortly announce the results. And just before announcing the results, just to inform you that Congo have now joined. So the results of the voting are as follows. There was 153 possible votes, there were 2 abstentions, and 134 valid votes were cast. Yes, 133, 99.25%, no, 1, 0.75%. So the motion is carried. I now hand the floor back to Jean. Thank you.
Thank you. So it will be the duty of the Council to appoint an acting chair for the next 2 years. We now come to the position of Chairperson of the Commission for Development, and we have one candidate, Mr. Tomislav Grahovac from Croatia, and this is a new election. I hand over the floor to Lumi.
Thank you, John. And we now move to the next motion, which is as follows. Do you agree on electing as chairperson of the IHF Commission for Development, Tomislav Grahovac? And the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 153 possible votes, there were no abstentions, and 135 valid votes were cast. Yes, 135, 100%, no, 0, 0%. So again, the motion is carried. I hand the floor back to Jean. Thank you.
Congratulations, Tomislav. And now we come to the chairperson of the Arbitration Tribunal. We have one candidate, which is Mr. Zoran Radojicic from Montenegro. I hand the floor to you at Lumi.
Thank you. And the next motion to vote on is as follows. Do you agree on electing as chairperson of the IHF Arbitration Tribunal, Zoran Radojicic? And the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 153 possible votes, there was 1 abstention, and 133 valid votes were cast. Yes, 133, 100%, no, 0, 0%. So the motion again is carried. And I hand the floor back to Jean. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, Zoran. And now we come to the election of 10 members of the Arbitration Tribunal. For this position, we have 7 candidates. Mr. Abdullah Al-Hayyan from Kuwait, re-election. Mrs. Agata Agata Jarnowska from Poland.
Now is yellow card, eh? Now is yellow card.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I'm terrible. I'm terrible. Mrs. Matea Horvat, Croatia. Mr. Pedro Mourão, Portugal. These two are standing for re-election, as the previous two. Mr. Juan Maria Perez Ortiz from Spain, re-election. Mr. Maxim Gurevich from Russia, new election. And Mr. Juan Pablo Montes Meri from Chile, new election. So 7 candidates for 10 positions. Lumi, I give you back the floor.
Excuse me, there's notes that also I wanted to add, because it's 7 and they are, all of them have to be 10. If you allow
Yes.
Bardo to give the council to take. Yeah, he didn't read it. That's why I repeat again.
Yeah, Mr. President, I propose that we go into the election in the first stage, and then we decide on giving the council the decision for the next 3.
It's up to you.
Would that? Can you agree with that?
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, Lumi, I give you the floor to go ahead with the election of these 7 members.
Hi, so Jean, before the meeting, we had the 7 members plus the IHF to authorize the remaining 3 positions as a yes/no.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yes.
So is that's okay for you? Yes, no, abstain for 7 candidates and for the IHF to authorize 3 positions.
Okay, that is fine. That is fine.
Perfect. I'll hand over to Edward.
Sure. Okay, thank you. So if we now move to the next motion, which is as follows. Do you agree on electing as members of the IHF Arbitration Tribunal the following candidates? And I will just read out the surnames. Al-Hayen, Jonska, Horvat, Mourão, Ortiz, Gulovich, Levy, Meri, and on authorizing the IHF Council to fill the 2 vacant positions.
But, I beg your pardon. Did you mention Mr. Levy in your list of candidates? I was informed that he had withdrawn his candidacy. So maybe Mrs. Khalifa can...
Here are Al-Hayan, Gianovska, Horvat, Mourão, Perez Ortiz, Gulovich, and Montes Meri.
Okay, so
Is that
that's
correct?
fine. Yeah?
That list is correct.
Yes, 7 candidates.
Okay, so just a moment, we will just reopen the vote to make sure it's correct. So what was going to the platform was correct. So people were voting on a correct question, but what you could see wasn't correct. So you may now open it once more. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Jean. And we should now have the correct motion. So if I could start again for this motion. So the motion is as follows. Do you agree on electing as members of the IHF Arbitration Tribunal the following candidates? And again, I will just read out the surnames. Al-Hayen, Jornoska, Horvat, Mourão, Ortiz, Gulovich, Meri, and on authorizing the IHF Council to fill the 3 vacant positions. And the poll is now open. poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. I'm now pleased to announce the results of the voting. There were 153 possible votes, there were no abstentions, and 128 valid votes were cast. Yes, 128, 100%. No, 0%. And I now hand the floor back to Jean. Thank you.
Thank you. So these 7 new members of the Arbitration Tribunal are elected, and the other 3 are going to be appointed by the Council of the IHF. We now come to the position of Chairperson of the Arbitration Commission, and we have 1 candidate, Mr. Lovro Badzim from Croatia, and this is a new election. I give you back the floor for the voting.
Thank you. And the next motion to vote on is as follows. Do you agree on electing as Chairperson of the IHF Arbitration Commission, Lovro Badzim? And the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 153 possible votes, there were no abstentions, and there were 133 valid votes cast. Yes, 133, 100%, no, 0%. So the motion is carried. And I now hand the floor back to Jean. Thank you.
Thank you. So congratulations, Mr. Lovro Badzim. And now we move on to the election of members of the Arbitration Commission. There are 10 positions to be filled, and we have 6 candidates. So I suppose that the procedure will be the same as previously, that we vote on the 6 candidates and we give a mandate to the Council to nominate the next 4. So the candidates are Mr. Mouad Ben Zayed from Tunisia, Mr. Nurul Fazal Bulbul, Mr. Miguel Fernandez, Mr. Philip Miloszewski, Mrs. Elena Boras Alcaraz, and Mrs. Elizabeth Lin Yang. I give you the floor for the election.
Thank you. And the next motion to vote on is as follows. Do you agree on electing as members of the IHF Arbitration Commission the following? And I will just read out the surnames. Saeed Bulbul, Fernandez, Miloszewski, Alcaraz, and Yang. and on authorising the IHF Council to fill the 4 vacant positions. And the voting is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed. We will shortly display the results. Results of the voting are as follows. There was 153 possible votes. There were no abstentions and 138 valid votes were cast. Yes, 138, 100%. No, 0%. I now hand the floor back to Jean. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to those elected, and the council will have to deal with the 4 positions that have not been fulfilled. We now come to the chairperson of the Ethics Commission, and we have 1 candidate, and that is Mr. Hussein Mustafa Fati from Egypt, and this is a re-election. I hand over the floor for the electoral procedure.
Thank you, Jean. And the next motion to vote on is as follows. Do you agree on electing as chairperson of the IHF Ethics Commission, Hussein Mustafa Fati? And the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. Poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. Good. And just before announcing the results, just to inform you that Malta have now joined. So there was 154 possible votes, there were 2 abstentions and 133 valid votes were cast. Yes, 132. 99.25%, no 0.75%. So the motion again is carried. And I now hand the floor back to Jean. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Fati. And we now move to the election of 5 members of the Ethics Commission. And we have 5 candidates for these positions. Mr. Kanye from Togo, Mr. Pulido Vasquez from Mexico, Mr. David Barufet Bofil from Spain, Mr. Jose Costa from Portugal, and Mr. Roman Lebedenko from Russia. I hand over the floor for the vote.
Thank you. And the next motion to vote on is as follows. Do you agree on electing as members of the IHF Ethics Commission the following, and I read the surnames, Kanye, Vasquez, Bofil, Costa, Lebedenko, and the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 154 possible votes, there was 1 abstention, and 130 valid votes were cast. Yes, 130, 100%. No, 0, 0%. So again, the motion is carried, and I hand the floor back to Jean. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations to these people who have just been elected. And we come to the last vote and concerning candidacies, and we have to elect 2 internal IHF auditors and 1 substitute auditor. We just have 1 candidate. This is Mr. Ulysses Pereira from Portugal. This is a re-election. So I suppose that the motion is to vote on Mr. Pereira's candidacy and give a mandate to the council to fulfill the other 2 positions. Is that correct?
Yeah,
yes?
Correct.
Yes, thank you very much. So I hand over the floor for the voting.
Thank you, Jean. And the next motion to a vote on is as follows. Do you agree on electing as internal IHF auditor Ulysses Pereira and on authorizing the IHF Council to appoint a second IHF auditor and a substitute auditor? And the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 154 possible votes. There was 1 abstention and 133 valid votes were cast. Yes, 133, 100%. No, 0, 0%. So again, the motion is carried and I hand the floor back to Jean. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ulysses, congratulations. And now, Mr. President, having fulfilled my mission with reasonable success, though there was some grumbling on your part, I hand the floor back to you.
Thank you, Jean. And then you have only 2 mistakes. And I hope that you will correct yourself in the next Congress.
Yes, Mr. President, I'll do my best.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jean. Thank you. Thank you, Lumi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, now we move to the point number, motions 14. This is a motion. No, after 15 now.
No. Confirmation.
Confirmation, okay. Number 13 is a confirmation of the Vice President from the continents.
To Lumi.
Lumi, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. And the next motion to vote on is as follows. Do you agree on confirming as Vice Presidents from the continents the following? Mansourou Aramo of Africa and Michael Wederer from Europe. And the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 154 possible votes, there was 1 abstention, and 134 valid votes were cast. Yes, 134, 100%. No, 0%. So the motion is carried. And I hand the floor back to Mr. President. Thank you.
Okay, now we're coming to the council member of subcontinent. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
And the next motion to vote on is as follows. Do you agree on confirming it as council members from the continents, Charles Ombumahu from Africa, Predrag Boskovic, Europe, Mario Garcia de la Torre, North America and the Caribbean, Ricardo Blas, Oceania, Marcel Mansilla Bravo, South and Central America. And the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 154 possible votes, there was 1 abstention, and there were 136 valid votes cast. Yes, 136, 100%, no, 0%. So the motion is carried. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, let me remove to 15.4, that is, we already appointed chairwoman. But now we come to 15.5. 15, this is a rule here now, okay. This is a confirmation of the supervisor body. And you have also Mr. Lewis, and then I give you the floor, please.
So we give the floor to our notary and Lumi, please, to confirm the Ihf supervisory body.
Thank you. So if we now move to the next motion, which is as follows. Do you agree on confirming it as IHF supervisory body, co-partner revision AG, and the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 154 possible votes. There were no abstentions and 130 valid votes were cast. Yes, 130, 100%. No, 0%. So the motion is carried. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much. And then we remove first for the motion to the Congress, 14.1, motion coming from the IHF President and from the IHF Council regarding the IHF status. I give you first the floor to Mr. De Blanc, the first Vice President, to explain, and then I will give you the floor after. Thank you. Mr. De Blanc, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, President. The first motion is regarding the pandemic situation. You know, with this situation, a lot of restriction regarding traveling and so on. So to have a good activities for International Handball Federation, Congress, Council, Executive Commission, a lot of meeting need to be online, like this Congress. So the proposal for this motion is to give some basis, legal basis and status to allow IHF to organize for all the bodies meetings online. Any question?
Okay, now I give the floor to Lomi, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. And if we now move to the next motion, which is as follows. Do you agree on motion number 1 from IHF President and from IHF Council regarding the IHF statutes related to virtual meetings? And for this vote, a 2/3 majority is required, and the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 154 possible votes, there was 1 abstention and 133 valid votes were cast. Yes, 130, 97.74%, no, 3, 2.26%. So the motion is carried and I now hand the floor back to Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now, Mr. Del Blanc, please.
The second motion is in 2 parts. The first is about the World Champion, the concept of World Championship. This concept concerns all the activities of the IHF International Handball Federation. So you need not to precise, for instance, Super Globe, beach, and so on and so on. It's enough with World Championship. It's the first, okay. And the second part of the motion, it's about e-sport. You know, handball online, it will be in our project for the future. And to protect the right of the International Handball Federation, you need to precise this competence inside the statutes. Any question about this motion?
Okay. Okay, I give the floor to Tlomi, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the next motion
It's
to vote
I
on-
hope that it will be clear for our member federations. The motion.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
And the next motion, which again requires a 2/3 majority, is as follows. Do you agree on motion number 2 from IHF President and from IHF Council regarding the IHF statutes which are related to IHF competitions and esports? And the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 154 possible votes. There were no abstentions and 132 valid votes were cast. Yes, 130, 98.48%. No, 2, 1.52%. So again, the motion is carried. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Joel Del Blanc, Mr. First Vice President. And then we remove to the point number 15. And this is a report change of the rule. This is different items here in this point 15. And this we need only information. This is only information. There are no voting. This is why I give the floor to Mrs. Khalifa, the General Manager, to take all this, the item number 15, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. The floor, please.
Thank you, President. Since 2019, the IHF Council changed some articles included or provided in these regulations. So whenever the Council decided, it was amended and uploaded to the website. In your document, you will find the link to each and the date of decision of the Council and the date of uploading on our website. So the only regulation which shall be applicable next year would be the rules of the games. We have 3 changes, and this will come into force in the beginning of July 2022, while we will publish the text in March 2022. The rest is just normal update and also new provisions in the regulations.
And all of them they are distributed. This for all.
They have been distributed and uploaded to the website.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Ms. Khalifa, General Manager. And then we remove now to item number 16. Confirmation of the IHF program of activities. I give you the floor, please.
So we prefer this time to present to you the program as a film. It will include all the activities the program the President would propose for the upcoming 4 years. So we will present now the film.
The IHF plans to put an increased focus on promising emerging or developing handball nations in different continents in order to achieve greater diversity. The top nations have been supporting these development activities by providing experts from different areas. Based on an analysis of the conditions in the national federations, various modules are selected to create an individual long-term development program which is tailored to the needs of the national federation in question. Emerging or developing handball nations aiming to reach international level should get the guidance they need to reach their goals. Therefore, the IHF will organize workshops and courses in different languages and targeted to the federations to provide the knowledge that is essential to run an organization successfully. The exposure of handball extends beyond the IHF's own channels, and therefore the IHF will assist national federations and players in their own social media presence to help promote the sport. The IHF will work more closely with federations who already have professional media structures, while at the same time providing guidance to federations who need assistance tailored to their specific situation. In order to implement the IHF coaching education structure globally, a new 3-tier multipliers education structure will be established as of 2022. A specific educational program will be offered for each tier of the IHF multipliers education, which will follow the structure of the corresponding coaching education. Discover and develop talents for the future. That's the name and motto of a new IHF development program, which will play an important role when it comes to the development of a structure for youth training, talent detection, and education. The program is based on youth training structures and a top sports concept in national federations, as well as providing supervision by IHF experts. The new IHF program, Reach the Next Level, aims to give new impulses for handball development, especially in the non-European federations. The overall goal is to help more IHF member federations participating in IHF World Championships reach a competitive level. The Ihf Four-Year Plan, a combination of individual IHF projects complemented by league support, is a program that aims to establish a development strategy for emerging and developing handball nations. Many national federations from different continents are already taking part, and as this project has proven to be a success, it will be continued in the upcoming years. One of the IHF's most popular projects is Handball at School. Launched back in 2011, it has reached millions of children, teachers and coaches, and in the upcoming years, the IHF wants to reach a whole new level with a particular focus on education, a Handball at School campaign, new Handball at School material, and new projects. Children are the future of our sport, and therefore it is of particular importance to not only have a strong children's program, but also to continuously improve it. To strengthen children's handball even further, the IHF will introduce a new program which is aimed at children of the ages between 3 and 5. Baby Handball. Based on a learning by playing philosophy, the aim is for children to not only discover the world in an entirely new way, but also to learn how to express themselves and develop social relationships. The Ihf Trophy offers emerging and developing handball nations the opportunity to gain valuable experience at international level and improve their skills at national level, as courses and projects are offered on the fringes of a tournament. By now, the popular project, which has been introduced back in 2000, is also a qualification pathway to IHF Junior and Youth World Championships. The IHF Emerging Nations Championship was introduced to provide emerging handball nations with a platform to play tournaments at international level. 3 men's editions have been played so far since 2015, and as the promotion of women's handball worldwide is one of the IHF's focus points, the first IHF Women's Emerging Nations Championship will be organized in due course. Launched in 2014, the IHF Traveler Coach project aims at providing emerging and developing handball nations with guidance so that they are able to establish a basic concept to develop and grow handball in their country in a way best suited to their needs. An IHF lecturer is assigned to a national federation for a longer period and will assist them on site as well as remotely as a direct contact person to help the federation develop handball further. The Ihf New Markets Project focuses on introducing handball in key markets all over the world. With tailor-made strategies and plans to develop and promote handball in a way best suited for the respective country and national federation, the IHF is currently active in Great Britain, China and the USA, and also works with India, Nigeria and Canada on the realization of the program. Italy will be included in the future as well. To help national federations practice handball at national level, the Ihf Development Aid Project was launched to provide the federations in need with basic material such as balls, floors, goals, uniforms and training material. Each national federation defines their targets and a clear scope so that the IHF can tailor the project to fit the specific demands of each federation. During their careers, handball players collect vast experience and knowledge about the sport and are therefore a valuable asset to the day-to-day handball life even after their active career has finished. With the Former Players Project, the IHF aims to keep former players involved in the sport and help them find the right field in which they can pass on their knowledge. In the framework of the project, 3 courses have been organized so far, with many more to come. The new IHF Referee Discovery Program should improve the sighting and promotion of talented referees, in particular outside of Europe. IHF experts assist with the sighting and will also travel to continental events to support those in charge for the education of referees. Furthermore, regular online courses and an IHF PRC mentor project will help national federations to improve their refereeing structures. Handball is a modern high-speed game which is exciting to play and watch. To make the sport even more attractive, the IHF is working on simplifying the rules and introducing more objective decision criteria, as well as a common line for all regarding the IHF rule interpretation. By including all relevant stakeholders, such as coaches, referees and players in the discussion, the IHF considers all topics that are currently debated in their decisions. With the expansion of IHF World Championships to 32 teams and a tendency for 2 or even 3 nations to host major events, there are new challenges for referees. Therefore, the IHF aims to increase the number of referees with a particular focus on female couples. In order to do so, the IHF has to work closely with the continental confederations and the national federations. The performance of delegates at IHF events should be further improved with an updated education concept. This concept includes courses for candidates who are first-time participants in IHF events, improved educational content and topics, and regular trainings via the IHF Virtual Academy. Nowadays, the video-proof technology plays a significant role in handball matches, as referees have the option to review crucial match game situations to take the right decision. As it has been well received by all stakeholders, the IHF will explore further how to improve the technology and make use of it in different situations. The IHF is continuously looking for ways not only to make the game itself more attractive, but also modernize the game environment. From resin-free balls to less slippery floors, tracking systems, and a revamp of all analysis systems, there are several topics discussed right now to deliver a new handball experience for all stakeholders. With handball becoming more diverse and inclusive, wheelchair handball has become a popular sport in the community. The IHF is working closely with its member federations to grow this up-and-coming sport worldwide, organize more wheelchair handball events such as the 4-a-side and 6-a-side World Championships in 2022, and meet the conditions stipulated by the International Paralympic Committee to reach the major goal, the inclusion of wheelchair handball in the Paralympic program. The IHF Education Center platform, which was first launched in 2016, helps handball fans, players, coaches and referees everywhere to improve their knowledge about the game. Through personalized content, social media sharing and the inclusion in the IHF mobile application, the new and improved Education Center 2.0 aims at a broader audience with sections for wheelchair handball, sports medicine and handball literature included. When handball activities all around the world came to a halt due to COVID-19 and new ways had to be found to interact with the handball community, the IHF Virtual Academy was launched. This educational platform, which offers interactive live seminars, on-demand e-learning, IHF license courses and much more, will be continuously updated with new material to satisfy the handball fans' thirst for knowledge. New and modern rulebooks will provide information for all stakeholders, from referees, coaches and players to spectators, journalists and the media in an attractive way. Using print and digital media platforms, the books should be the basis for uniform rule interpretation and uniform referee training. More objective decision-making criteria and detailed information with video examples should help everyone get a clear understanding of the rules. Over the past few years, and in particular during the COVID-19 pandemic, the esports market has been growing rapidly. More and more international federations are entering this field, and the International Handball Federation as well is ready to join this exciting market. With the minigame Beat the Goalie, a mobile game launched in 2020, and the Be a Manager game, a browser fantasy league game introduced at the 2021 IHF Men's World Championship, the IHF made the first steps in the esports world. Now, a high-quality simulation game will be developed, which should attract game will be developed, which should attract handball fans and gamers alike. This will be the basis to create rules and regulations and, ultimately, an IHF esports competition. As climate change and the climate crisis belong not only to the most widely debated, but also to the most urgent topics of today's world, it is time for everyone to take action. The climate crisis is one of the biggest challenges of our time, and the International Handball Federation will join the fight against climate change and tackle the issue with concrete measures. At the same time, a closer look will be taken at the UN Sustainable Development Goals to examine how the International Handball Federation can contribute to a better future.
Indeed, the COVID-19 pandemic has asked us many questions about ourselves and about our world. The pandemic is a test, and the world is failing. The threat is not over anywhere until it's over everywhere. Anyone who thinks the pandemic is over because it's over where they live is living in a fool's paradise. I have called for a massive global push to vaccinate at least 10% of the population of every country by September, at least 40% by the end of this year, and 70% by mid next year. If we can reach those targets, we can not only end the pandemic, we can also reboot the global economy. But as Japan and many of its neighbors know well, vaccines are not the only effective tool. Many countries have proven and are proving that this virus can be controlled with the right combination of public health and social measures if they're applied in a careful and consistent way. I mean proven public health tools like rational testing, rigorous contact tracing, supportive quarantine, and compassionate care. I mean proven individual measures like avoiding crowds, physical distancing, wearing masks, doing things outdoors as much as possible, opening doors and windows, and cleaning hands. Each of these measures can be the difference between life and death in every situation. The COVID-19 pandemic has taught us all many painful but important lessons. One of the most important is that when health is at risk, everything is at risk. It has shown us that health is not an optional extra. It's not a luxury for those who can afford it. It's not a reward for development. It is the foundation of social, economic, and political stability. Of course, sport and all forms of physical activity are essential for good health. Sport and physical activity can help to prevent and manage many non-communicable diseases, including cancer and diabetes, and reduce the symptoms of depression and anxiety. By its very nature, sport is about participation, bringing individuals, communities, and countries together, and bringing cultural, ethnic, and national divides. It promotes tolerance and respect, and empowers women and young people. We know that sport has an important role in achieving the health targets of the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, and particularly the goal of increasing physical activity by 15% over the next decade. We hope to work with many more sporting federations to promote health, to protect health, to communicate about the health through sport, and to pursue the Olympic values of excellence, friendship, and respect. Those values are more important now than ever, and each of them is relevant to our fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. Our focus as a world united must be on doing everything we can to triumph over the pandemic with determination, dedication, and discipline. We're not in a race against each other. We are in a race against the virus. The pandemic is a severe health crisis, but it's much more than that. It's more than a test of science. It is a test of character. I am often asked when the pandemic will end. This is everybody's question. My answer is equally simple. The pandemic will end when the world chooses to end it. It is in our hands.
The floor to Lumi to make the vote for the program for the next 4 years, please.
Lumi.
We will open the vote momentarily. Thank you.
When he's back in, I'll turn our cameras on.
Hello? Lumi?
Thank you, Mr. President. So if we can now move to the next vote.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you got it? And the next motion to vote on is as follows. Do you agree on confirming the IHF programme of activities for the period 2021 to 2025? And the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. And before I announce the voting results, just to inform you that one other country has joined, which is Equatorial Guinea. And the results of the voting are as follows. There was 155 possible votes, there were no abstentions, and 117 valid votes were cast. Yes, 116, 99.15%, no 1, 0.85%. So the motion is carried. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much. And then we're going to remove to the point number 17, membership fees and approval of the budget. I will give the floor to our treasurer.
Perfect. Thank you. And good afternoon to all of you. I will first give you a short version of the information that you have already received the 6th of October, that we have had official requests from the Singapore Handball Federation, where they wish to be moved from membership fee category B to category C. The executive discussed this and we proposed to the Congress to approve the request and to put Singapore Handball Federation in category C.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Treasurer. Anna. Okay, and then I give the floor to Tommy to vote about these items, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. So if we now move to the next motion to vote on, which is as follows. Do you agree on approving the reallocation of Singapore Handball Federation from IHF membership fee category B, which has an annual fee of Swiss francs 2,000, to category C, which has an annual fee of Swiss francs 150? And the poll is now open. Poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 155 possible votes, there were 6 abstentions and 120 valid votes were cast. Yes, 105, 87.5%, no, 15, 12.5%, and for this a simple majority was required, which has been reached. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much. Mr. Rabb, you have the floor for the next, please.
Thank you. The next issue is that the Council proposes to exempt member federations of Category C to pay the membership fees for the years 2022 and 2023.
Correct, thank you. I give the floor to Tommy, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. And the next motion to vote on is as follows. Do you agree on exempting member federations of Category C, annual fee of Swiss francs 150, from paying membership fees for the years 2022 to 2023, and that the poll is now open? The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 155 possible votes, there were 2 abstentions and 124 valid votes were cast. Yes, 112, 90.32%, no, 12, 9.68%. So again, a simple majority has been obtained. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Lumi. There are no difference between Lumi and Tommy.
No, the big difference.
Okay. Ms. Rabb, continue, please.
Thank you. Then we move on to the proposed budget, where you have a more detailed version in the documents that were sent to you the 6th of October. But the composition of the proposed budget for 2022 and 2023 is very similar to previous years, with the majority of the income being the TV rights that you can see on the top row here in the presentation. The main expense is the development aid and other contributions, where you can see on row, what is it? Maybe 8? You can see it about 12 million. Which includes the trophies, the projects, the emerging nations, the new markets, the 4-year programs, and things that you have seen in the films earlier today. As usual, the budget varies a bit between uneven years, such as 2023, and the even years as 2022. And this is due to that we have both of the senior championships, the women and men, in uneven years. And you can see that on the marketing rights, row 2, that we have more income in 2023 than in 2022. And on the same side, you can see that we have more event-related expenses in 2023. And this is due to that fact that we have both the major championships or the senior championships in uneven years. Another thing that differs from year to year is that we have the Congress in the uneven years. You can see a difference on Congress's board and executive meeting, that row. It costs $1 million to host a Congress. Or we hope it will cost that in 2023 when we can meet live. But this is the proposed budget, and as you can see, we have on the last row, we are hoping for a profit both coming years. And I think I can go to Lumi, or Mr. President, do you want to add something in between? Finished. I'm finished.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Raab. Very good. And then I give the floor to Lumi, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. And the next motion to vote on is as follows. Do you agree on approving the budget for the years 2022 and 2023? And the poll is now open. Poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed and we will shortly display the results. The results of the voting are as follows. There was 155 possible votes, there was 1 abstention, and 121 valid votes were cast. Yes, 121, 100%. No, 0%. So the motion is carried. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Raab, our treasurer. You did a very good job. And you see the result now on the screen. And okay, now we move to the point number 18, scheduling time and place of the next Congress. I ask Poland to have the floor. Poland.
Dear Mr. President,
yes.
Dear Council members, Congress delegates, handball friends, first of all, in the name of the Polish Handball Federation, we would like to congratulate to Mr. President and all other candidates on the election for the next term period. We wish all of you successful cadency with progressing development of handball in the next 4 years. We would like to kindly invite all handball family in 2023 to Poland from 2 reasons. First of all, in January 23, we will host together with Sweden Men's World Championship. And secondly, in June 2023, we would like to invite you for the IHF Congress in Katowice. This is the capital city, the capital of the Silesia region in Poland. Can we see the presentation, please? If we could show on the screen. The Katowice is also the host city of the World Championship 2023, and this is the place where will be played the opening match and the opening ceremony will be organized there. Of course, Poland, this is the country in the center of Europe, and Katowice is the most populated region, metropolitan area with more than 2 million inhabitants. It used to be the heavy industry center in Poland, but today it's a business and entertainment city, which is fastly developing, and the same like our country. And we hope that we will have together an excellent time during the Congress, where we prepared many interesting places to visit during the Congress, and of course the connection between Katowice and other main cities in Europe and in the world will be able by Katowice Airport or Kraków Airport, which is only 60 kilometers from the Katowice, and we can also deliver the connection with capital city of Poland via Warsaw. We would like to visit you in the Mercure hotels in Katowice. We have 2 of them, which are very close from the International Conference Center, where the Congress is going to be organized. The International Conference Center is next to the Spodek Arena, the venue of the World Championship 2023, and in the center of the city. And at the end, we would like to kindly invite you, and we wish that you will spend a good time together with us in our beautiful country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Gregory. And then at the meantime, thank you for this very good presentation, very beautiful country. All of us, we very happy to go to Poland. But let us, my opinion, that let us also, because we didn't send the investigation inspections also about Poland, but let us ask the Congress to give the decision of the Council, the next Council meeting, that we can take a decision after we were going to send, we will make all inspections in Poland regarding this Congress 2023. Lomi, have the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. And the next motion to vote on is as follows. Do you agree on awarding the 39th Ordinary IHF Congress in 2023 to Polish Handball Federation on condition that all IHF requirements are fulfilled, taking into consideration that the corresponding inspection is yet to be carried out by the IHF? And the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll is now closed, and for the final time, we will shortly be displaying the results. Results of the voting are as follows. There was 155 possible votes. There were no abstentions, and 124 valid votes were cast. Yes, 123, 99.19%. No, 1, 0.81%. Therefore, the motion is carried. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you so much. At the meantime, that we're coming to the next items, and this is the IHF President Development Award, Handball Developed Countries. We have two countries. First, Czech Republic, and I think that Professor Tabrowski is here. Can you? Okay, good. And the second is Colombia. We're going to send the certificate to both countries, but after the meeting that we can also be in contact with the general manager that you can give me these certificates of Czech Republic. Thank you so much. Okay. Next. This is, I will repeat this, something belonging to the respect. Our people that already working with us since a long time, and they working very hard to develop and to promote handball with us. And then one from them, that's our friend, he passed away, Manfred Brauser. The man, he have a lot of history in handball, starting to be a national referee in Germany, and until he was the chairman of the referee commission by International Handball Federation. I think also he working with the European Handball Federations as a chief of the referee commission in Europe. And then he already, I was in contact always with him, and now you can send his certificate to his family, wife, and his daughter. Okay, this is Manfred Brauser. Thank you, Manfred, that you already did a very good job for us. Thank you. And the next, Dr. Hosni Abdurrahman. Sorry. This is the next is our friend, and he did also very good job during. He's a trainer. He was a trainer of the Russian Handball Federations since a long time, and he did a very good job. It's, for example, 4 World Championship gold medal, and he have a lot of history. And the man is always, even he is not now working because I have a health problem, but he is always around the Russian Handball Federations and the Russian national team, women national team. And I want to, in the name of International Handball Federation, I will give him my gratitude, my thanks, and I hope that we will to have a good health and to continue to work with the Russian Handball Federation under the leadership of our friend Sergei Shishkorov, that the man is also working very hard to develop handball in Russia. Thank you so much for what you already did for handball during their life. Thank you so much. Okay, the next, Dr. Hosni Abdurrahman, he is also working with us since a long time. He was a representative, International Handball Federation for the anti-doping units, and he did a good job since more than 25 years or 30 years working. Also, he was with the FIFA, he was on the Africa Handball Federations, and then he working with us since about 15 years in International Handball Federation. Thank you, Dr. Abdurrahman, Professor Abdurrahman. You did a very good job with us, and I hope very good luck for you for the futures, very good health, and I hope very good for you and your family. Thank you so much. Okay, now we're coming to the next point, Macedonians. If anyone you have something. May I ask Lumi?
Just open the floor if someone wants to speak.
Okay, we open the floor if anyone have any questions. Any question or comment about the Congress? Okay.
Just congratulation messages.
Okay. Just I'm informed that we received only congratulation messages from our family and Handball family. And here now are we going to close the Congress. I wanted to give my congratulations and for all of you that I hope also for you a very good luck for the future. And thank you so much for good cooperation between IHF and the National Federation and the Continental Confederation. We did a very good job and we are in a very good way. And I wanted to give my thanks also gratitude for the people that already working with us during the LOMI and also a colleague from the companies that working with us in this Congress. Thank you so much and very good luck. Stay healthy and stay safe in your country. Take care of yourself. Thank you so much. Very good luck for the future. And I hope for all of us, very good luck to lead handball in the next 4 years in a very good way. Thank you so much.
Chao, muchas gracias.